Hi, this is Mama Dr. Tochi with today's class on the spiritual loads of firstborns. What? What? Yes. Have you ever noticed that firstborn children seem to have quite a loading of spiritual issues when they show up? So in today's class, we're going to talk about firstborns. What is going on with firstborns, spiritually speaking, and what parents and families need to be doing, as well as the firstborns themselves, what they need to be doing to take care of this issue. So as usual, get that drink, get that snack, get that notebook and the pen, and get ready to have some forbidden fruit. Thank you for coming back. A little bit of housekeeping. If you need to get a hold of me for divinations, consultations, please read the description below this video and click on the link to my website. I only book appointments through my website, not through DMs, not through emails or text messages or voicemails. This is to avoid scams and to ensure that you're reaching me and not someone else in a different country. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Dr. Tochi family. If you are a member, a double thank you for supporting me with your finances to make this content available free of charge to all. If you'd like to be a member and receive special perks that come with membership, click on the join button you see below this video. If you don't see a join button, that means YouTube does not have that feature available in your country or region yet. Read the description below this video for how to get to my courses, my events, to get spiritual practice coaching from me, and more. Now let's get into today's class. What is it about firstborn children? You know, there's all these stories being told about firstborn children or the practice children of parents, especially young parents. They use their firstborns to practice how to be parents. And eventually, it's the lastborns that enjoy the parents, because by the time they get to the next child and the child after that, the parents have gained parenting experience. And usually the firstborn bears the brunt of the learning experience of parents. And that happens a lot. Not all the time, but it happens a lot. There are so many research studies that have been done on firstborns. How does the position of a firstborn affect the person's life choices, their life path, how they end up, how well they do in life, and so on and so forth. And we've come to understand from these studies that there's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations that are usually put upon firstborn children. They're expected to take care of their younger ones. They're expected to adopt responsibility at a younger age compared to, their siblings who come after them. But from a spiritual perspective, what happens or what's going on with firstborn children? Firstborn children, when they come to a family or come to a person, okay, they may come to a man or come to a woman who is not in a marriage or family situation. You understand what I mean? The person had an affair or had a relationship and the child came as a first child. Most first children are door openers. They open doors. First children are the ones usually designated to carry on the lineage of both the mother and the father. Both the mother and the father. They're the ones that bear the most responsibility and the most weight for the lineage. There are spiritual expectations that are made of firstborn children that usually are not made of the succeeding children. A lot of powerful gifts go through the first child, especially if that powerful gift goes through a family. You find it strongly represented in the first child. This can represent a problem when the first child refuses to accept the gift or refuses to accept the responsibility, or is not told about the gift or told about the responsibility. This can then manifest as problems for the first child. The first child can also set the tone for the health and wealth of the succeeding children. There are some firstborn children who take on, for lack of a better word, the sins of the family so that the siblings can do well. Yes, you heard that right. There are some firstborn children who come and they take on the weight. They take on the burdens of the family, of the lineage, so that their younger siblings can do well. So you might come to a family and find out that the firstborn child, male or female, is not doing well financially, or not doing well maritally, or they have some kind of issues going on with them, but the younger siblings are doing well. Usually this is something that the spirit, the soul of the firstborn has agreed to do before showing up on this plane of existence. Remember that when you have children coming to a family or children coming to people, these children are already in agreement before they show up on this side. They already know they're going to be part of the same family. They're going to be part of the same unit. And so they already map out their paths before they show up here. There are a lot of firstborns that bear the generational curses of the family. And if you want to know more about generational curses, I encourage you to go watch my video on generational curses. Generational curses are not things that you imagine. They're not things that you accuse other people of because you've had a little bit of bad luck here, a little bit of bad luck there. That's not generational curses. Generational curses are really heavy-duty, serious stuff. And a lot of firstborn children will choose to, of course, I'm not saying consciously, but spiritually choose to bear it so that their siblings, the family, would have a chance to thrive and do well, and so that the lineage would not die out. There are some firstborn children who are considered like sacrificial lambs for the family in this regard. Some families who are very spiritually active can choose to load their firstborn so that the other children will have a better chance at making it in life. So this is now different from the firstborn choosing to shoulder the burden, but now the family choosing to put it on the firstborn. This is especially important in families where they have a covenant, an ancestral covenant going on saying every first child will experience X, or every first child will experience Y. There are some families where it's even differentiated more, where there's certain things that happen to the firstborn sons and certain things that happen to the firstborn daughters. Being a firstborn is a big responsibility, because if someone wants to spiritually attack the family, they will usually go for the first child first. Because the first child, the firstborn, is the flag bearer. That's where the genes are the strongest and the most manifest. If you are a firstborn child, you need to know these things. If you're a parent and you have children, or you have an only child, you need to know these things so that you can have them addressed as soon as possible. Especially if you see that there's a generational curse that is going through the first children in your lineage. The first child of the first child of the first child of the first child. The first child is also important because when the father of the family is unable to carry out his spiritual duties, the first child becomes authorized to stand in for the father in the family. And what the first child speaks on can become law, as long as they speak on it spiritually. Where the father is absent, the first child, doesn't matter whether it's male or female, can stand in as the figure of authority and power in the family. And so you can see that the attack of the firstborn is very critical. It's a very critical situation. Because let's say, for instance, the father of the family is not there, and you take out the firstborn child, there can be confusion, a lot of spiritual confusion in the family. The father, who is the authority figure in the family, needs to be close to the firstborn child, male or female, in order to teach them what they need to know. And one of the things they need to know is discipline. The firstborn child has to be disciplined to not only fulfill the spiritual functions of the family, but also disciplined not to act rashly, to behave rashly, and to think rashly. The self-control, the ability of the first child to be silent as appropriate, to be forgiving, to be understanding, to be the shelter, the umbrella for the siblings is very important. Many firstborns have had their spiritual rights, their spiritual powers taken away from them when they have not observed these things. As a firstborn, it is your spiritual duty to protect and shield your siblings and to stand in for your parents if your parents are not able to stand in for all of you, or they refuse to stand in. If there is some spiritual work, spiritual rituals that need to be done for the family, and your parents, your mother and your father, refuse to stand up, refuse to stand in the gap, refuse to do the right thing for the children, you as a firstborn child can stand up and assume that authority. And the spiritual crew of your parents will be with you, because your spiritual crew, the spiritual crew of your parents, are already aware that your parents have refused to stand up to their responsibility. So they will turn around and support you. So you will have the benefit of having a larger spiritual crew to enable you to do what you need to do. If you are a firstborn, don't take your position or your spiritual responsibilities lightly. You will be tested. You will be tried. But it is your duty to stand strong and protect your siblings. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Okay. There are a lot of firstborns who get frustrated because they're like, my mother didn't help me, my father didn't help me, no one's telling me what to do. Go out and find the thing you're supposed to do. And equip yourself with power, because your position is a protective position. It is a holding position. It's an authoritative position. Excuse me. If you are a firstborn and you're not supported by your siblings, you have lost the respect, the love, the care of your siblings. You have a big spiritual problem. Things may not be going well for you as a result. Things may be going well for you materially, but spiritually, you're lacking in power. So I know today's class might be a little bit heavy, especially for those who are firstborns. And I think we're still going to revisit this issue in a future video class. But if you're a parent, take the time to spiritually educate your firstborn. Let them know that their position, their responsibility is authority and protection first. Teach them what to do if you're not around. If for any reason you're not here or you go to the other side, let your firstborn know what to do on behalf of your family and your children and your descendants. Let your firstborn be the glue that holds your family and your lineage together. If you're a mother, protect your firstborn, because your firstborn is there to protect you. I know that you might be a little bit harder on the firstborn, on the first child, because you want that child to pick up responsibility early, but don't fail to show love to that firstborn child. Let your firstborn child know that she or he is deeply loved, but more important than love, deeply respected. And you will see your firstborn child perform wonders in your life. We're thankful to our Creator, our guardian spirit, guardian angels. We're thankful to our ancestors, our spirit guides, and all those in the unseen realms who teach us what we know, especially as firstborns, to live a fulfilled life here. Ashe.